Thanks for the taste, by the way.
All right, good. Well, I didn't know whether you smoked or not. You never said anything about it.
Very, I never did, but 6 years ago I went through just thought I was in a down period. I couldn't even sleep. And so I had a prescription to get sleep pills. So I took one the first night, and I slept. So I put them away, because I didn't need them anymore. I knew I could still sleep. I didn't want the chemicals to disappear. So that's my attitude about drugs in general.
Yeah.
Aside from, is that good or bad? Oh no! Can it be retroactive though? If it's one of the things you can do is put stuff in the scroll. His brain is in a scroll. God, poor Johnny.
Oh, Johnny. Poor Johnny.
Yeah, was it? Could I ask you something? Why does John Wiener have such an attraction to so many people? He really didn't have a big book or anything, you know what I'm saying, but they're closely scripted. It's just curious how across the board, I mean, well, if anyone ever comes to Boston, will ask me about John and say, have you seen John lately? So, obviously, the personal love thing had an impact, but the poems, I don't know if they got the kind of critical thing they question about. Oh, I have something to tell you. Tony Garfield told me the other day. On the phone, I'm talking to Tony about something else. And, I suggested Tony for the bicentennial observance of the constitutional signing. They had 6 people up there, and one of them was the wombat. I had suggested the wombat, and I suggested Tony to be Ben Franklin. And sure enough, they made him Ben Franklin. He appeared, and he's making a couple bucks inside, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks, to do this, which is nice, and they're in period dress and all that. Well, anyway, I've suggested that he be kind of an unofficial city greeter, because he speaks like 5 languages. Yeah. Well, he's a pretty erudite guy. And, I like him. I told you what he used to call stone soup. No. Well, that's one thing probably, but he called it pebble broth. Yeah. Yeah. And he had great discouragement for us, and it's wonderful that, in the last few years, we've seen each other a few times, and I, do a couple of things his way and all that stuff. I like Tony. He's a rare man, one of a kind. Well, listen, Hotshot, I gotta talk to my man Blue. We gotta set a few things up. When will I run into you again? Please do. Okay. Bye-bye. Just hang that up while I run down too. Who couldn't see? See, the most important thing is the accent, not that that's on, because it's not as important as the accent of me wearing this.
Not the what's on?
Just that Mala isn't on.
Oh.
I thought. Although he's on. And that's okay.
Well,
see, for me, I'll take this quite seriously.
Quite seriously now. Let's be serious, Jack.
Everything.
Is that habitual, by the way? Seriousness?
Indelible. Well, God bless the fact that
you don't have to get old.
Well, no, and as you're
it
getting old,
young people too.
In the sense that As one ages, what do you look at? Diminished horizon. I will not, I guess, ever in this lifetime be able to stuff a basketball.
Really? You won't?
I never did it.
I never did either.
Doubt that I will in the near future.
I never even came close.
So that makes the far future, rather unlikely.
I did hit a lot of baskets though.
That's the question of age. The question of age is that you have diminished area of capability or attainment. And in certain areas, of course, poetics, for instance, as you mentioned earlier. This football player is pretty much done at 32. Baseball player maybe 36. Poet?
They're just getting going.
So,
unless they damage their minds too much, you know.
now talking about current writing, someone I presented a few times. Very cool stuff. Boy, this young stuff is so brilliant, hot, exciting. But I'd say Greg's not on top of the game.
He's not brilliant, hot, and exciting anymore.
As a writer, as if there's no one to read it.
What do you mean there's no one to read it?
Let's put it this way. What's called poetry, under bestseller conditions, compared to novelists' bestseller conditions. So you reach a tiny percentage of the general population that shows no promise of growing.
If you reach them through the writing. It's all just like anything else, Jack.
How do they ever encounter the writing?
Yes.
How do they encounter it?
How do they know Shakespeare? That 2% read Shakespeare. How do they know Shakespeare? Well, television talks about Shakespeare. Schools talk about Shakespeare. If television talks about it, schools talk about it. Because that's what the kids see and that's what they want to hear.
Could I offer you one thing?
Society.
A response. The largest poetry gathering paid that I ever had anything to do with was 1,000 people paid to see Lawrence Finnegan 10 years ago in Boston.
Yep.
11 years ago. No. It was not reviewed by anyone.
Didn't have to be.
But if it were reviewed on the Arts and Living pages of the book, enthusiastic review, more people should come to poetry readings or something. You took a few people this way.
Did you call the people up and have them?
Yeah, and you know what they said? What? They said this, without saying it this way. After all, you complain that if 80 people show up at a club to watch some punk rock band or, a jazz group, we'll review it. But we won't review a thing that's got 200 audience for poetry, 500 I had for Fly, a couple of hundred for Believe This or Not, Gerard Malinger, and his Grievous Thumbs. Well, it was wonderful. With no, like Charles Olson, John Wiener's making his money for that, but with no quoting, in other words, no transcription of their voice. Could have done a voiceover, a different time, place. At least it would have been connected to material. He had mostly rock and roll, mostly inappropriate. And an obligatory scene of him nude. Don Juan. So, that's just for that side of the street. Otherwise, it is important to maintain same thing occurred.